What was that play? Oh my God, this is rigged. This is rigged. She got yanked, fell on her hip. That's a hack!
Did Caitlin Clark just get mugged in broad daylight by a whistle? Because what we saw in that Indiana Fever versus New York Liberty matchup wasn't just a basketball game, it was a masterclass in how to hijack a win. A night that was supposed to be a highlight reel for Clark and the Fever turned into an officiating horror show that even a haunted house wouldn't dare produce.
Like footage has emerged proving WNBA referees definitely have an agenda against Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever.
Refs were blowing whistles like it was a Black Friday sale. And the only thing missing was a striped jersey doing a post-game interview about how they single-handedly changed the outcome. Let us know down in the comments below what you think of the WNBA refs. Let's go.
I can't believe what I'm about to say. The Indiana Fever, with the strongest, loudest, most intimidating home court advantage in all the WNBA, just got robbed at home. I saw it with my own two eyes live on CBS against the defending champion New York Liberty.
Let's cut straight to the madness. Fourth quarter. The game's tighter than your grandma's Tupperware lid. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Sabrina Ionescu draws a foul on Lexie Hull, so soft you'd need a microscope and an imagination to see it. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark gets bulldozed going to the basket. Nothing. Not a peep. The kind of silence that screams louder than a buzzer beater. It wasn't just a bad call, it was the basketball version of gaslighting.
Oh my God, they hacked DeWanna Bonner and they hacked Caitlin Clark. They are both hacks. They are both hacks. They hacked Fever twice, and then there was a phantom foul called on Sabrina Ionescu.
And then we get to the stat that tells the whole story like a snitch. 32 free throws for New York, 15 for Indiana. That's not a discrepancy, that's a full-blown mathematical insult. You don't need a calculator to feel the imbalance. This wasn't just home court bias, it was full-on ref roulette, and the Fever were the ones left spinning.
They fell behind by 15 in the first half, no huge surprise. But boy, they stormed back as Caitlin Clark finally snapped out of her three-point slump.
Here's the wild part. The game started like it was going to be a New York blowout. Fever trailed by 15 at the half. But Caitlin and company said, not so fast, storming back with gritty defense and highlight plays. Clark hit a deep three at the buzzer in the third that sent the crowd into a frenzy. It felt like something special was brewing. But just when momentum was swinging Indiana's way, the refs pulled the plug like someone tripped over the power cord.
And now you see Phoebish starting off on Caitlin Clark. New York is pretty coy about how they would defend her. Boston, they roll the catch and puts it into two.
When
What followed was a sequence of officiating so sketchy you'd think the refs were paid in Liberty merch. Sabrina gets a trip to the line for pushing herself against Lexie Hull.
Chance to give the Liberty the lead.
I mean, she turns the corner and gets downhill. I don't know, Lexie Hull vertical. Maybe that's offense-initiated contact, and maybe Stephanie
White chooses not to challenge. You think about the foul on the previous play with Sabrina and how she went at Lexie Hull. They call it that time. Bonner gets whacked on the other end. They don't do anything.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's getting bodied in the paint like she wandered into a rugby match. Crickets. Replays didn't lie. They screamed. The crowd saw it. The broadcast team saw it. Twitter saw it. But the refs? Apparently, they were watching something else entirely.
You had Sabrina coming down off of a layup where she just falling, man. She's just falling, all right? Now, if you wanted to call that a foul, fine. But what happened? What happened with Caitlin Clark? Doing the same fall, fam. Doing the same fall. She's falling just like that, but no call.
Then, as if things couldn't get more farcical, DeWanna Bonner gets smacked and, surprise, still no call. At this point, the only thing more consistent than the non-calls was the Liberty's free throw parade. You'd think the Fever were playing defense with foam noodles the way whistles kept flying one direction only.
But she's in position, and it looked like she just got hacked, smashed, tackled. I don't know. The ball goes sideways. It looked like a body foul. It looked like an arm hack. I don't know. They didn't replay it conclusively. But just in real time, I thought, that's just a foul. You just gotta send her to the line. I think they were trying to foul her because she was so wide open off such a miraculous pass.
And it got worse. Every time the Fever built a little momentum, another whistle came down like divine punishment.
So just really quick, man. There's no way you have the liberty shooting 32 free throw attempts and the Indiana Fever shooting 15 free throw attempts in this game, fam, and are able to say the refs weren't one-sided. There's no way.
Key players, Clark, Hull, Mitchell, were all slapped with fouls like it was a birthday party and they were the piñata. Meanwhile, the Liberty's stars floated through the game untouched, stress-free, and magically immune to fouls. It was almost poetic, if poetry was fueled by rage and bad officiating.
This is Caitlin Clark, who I still think has a great chance to win MVP. Obviously, she's the most popular player in the league. She's at home in front of that crowd, and you don't give her that call?
Fans lost it. Social media erupted. Is this a game or a setup? One person tweeted. Others were even more blunt. Rigged. Scripted. Protecting the Liberty like it's a national treasure. And honestly, could you blame them? This didn't feel like a couple of bad calls. It felt like the league sent the refs a memo titled, "Don't let Indiana win."
What a game. They've done a great job of rigging this. They've done a great job of rigging this league. The league, they're not even being subtle. They're not even being subtle. Oh my God, this is embarrassing.
Look, we all know officiating is imperfect. Humans miss calls. But this wasn't human error. This was a steady drip of one-sided decisions that all somehow tipped toward New York. A late-game whistle fest. An ignored foul here. A bonus trip to the line there. And slowly, possession by possession, the game slipped away from the Fever. Not because of defense, not because of execution, but because of Stripes who decided they were the stars.
We got it down to the wire. We're at Fever. And I'm thinking, okay, they got a real shot here. And then they didn't have a shot because of 3 straight awful pro-liberty calls that I just can't believe what I just witnessed. These are the Fever of Caitlin Clark at home.
The final buzzer wasn't the end of a game. It was the start of the backlash. The players were visibly frustrated. The fans were livid. Online, the clip-sharing frenzy began. Everyone had receipts. Every missed call, every bad whistle, every moment Clark or Boston got hacked and kept playing while Liberty players cashed in sympathy calls like casino chips.
So now we've had 2 straight bad calls against the home team in the loudest, most intimidating arena.
So here's the big question. Was this just an off night for the refs? Or was something deeper at play? Because when the reigning champs get every call and the league's brightest new star can't get a fair whistle, people notice. The Fever didn't just lose a game. They lost momentum. They lost faith. And fans are starting to lose trust that Caitlin Clark will even be allowed to compete on a level playing field.
There is footage that has emerged. Shout out to the person that captured this, bro. Oh, thank you. Because this is going to prove my point. This is going to prove what I've been saying. And the truth of the matter is that they have an agenda against Caitlin Clark, and you guys finna see.
If the WNBA wants to be taken seriously, this can't keep happening. The game is bigger than bad officiating. Caitlin Clark is bigger than controversy. But if the league lets the refs keep deciding the outcomes, then don't be shocked when fans start checking out. This wasn't a game, it was a message. And unfortunately, it came from the officials, not the players.
Watch this, bro. Watch this. I cannot make this up. Watch this. Y'all see what's happening right here? That is a WNBA referee turning his back to Caitlin Clark and the Fever. Oh my God. I mean, he literally got his back turned, ignoring Caitlin. I mean, this is bad. This is bad. This is beyond bad, bro. I can't even lie. Dude's got his whole back turned to Caitlin and Sophie, bro. All of them.
Now the spotlight isn't just on Caitlin Clark's stat line or her clutch shooting. It's on something much bigger, whether the WNBA is actually playing fair. What should have been a game celebrated for its intensity is now getting dragged through the mud because of what fans are calling one of the most blatant referee meltdowns in recent memory. And instead of people talking about how Clark nearly willed her team to a comeback, they're questioning whether the league itself is stacking the deck.
Look at this, man. Just look at this. The pure disrespect on so many levels, guys. Man, I can't play it again. I cannot play this again, bro. I mean, guys, this is how the day went. This is how, bro, this just proved everybody's point. They have an agenda against the Fever. There was 3 referees. None of them turned their head to even look at Caitlin Clark, acknowledge her at all, bro. They didn't even acknowledge her at all, bro. Her, Sophie, Aurelia Boston, bro. They treated them like they was nothing. Nothing, I tell you. This is messed up.
This isn't just about some missed whistles or a tough night at the office for the Zebras. Fans are starting to ask the uncomfortable question: is Caitlin Clark being treated differently than everyone else? Because if she's the league's biggest star, bringing in record ratings, selling out arenas, and injecting more buzz into the WNBA than it's had in decades, then why does it feel like she's being targeted rather than protected?
How can you do that to her and to her team on 3 straight plays? Bonner, Lexie Hall, Caitlin. 3 straight plays down the stretch of a very close game against the defending champs. I'm sure the ratings will be through the roof on CBS. It's a holiday weekend. It was the Saturday of the holiday weekend. How can you do that to Caitlin Clark? I need to know. Somebody up there, please explain to me, how can Caitlin Clark not get a call that everybody else gets of equal stature in the league? Name them, Asia Wilson or Brianna or Steph or LeBron.
Let's not pretend this is some tinfoil hat conspiracy. Caitlin's impact is real. She's the reason your cousin who's never watched a WNBA game is suddenly arguing about free throw disparities on Twitter. She's the main attraction, the walking headline, the superstar bringing mainstream attention. But if you watched that Fever Liberty game and didn't notice how often Clark got clobbered without a whistle, you might want to get your eyes checked, or maybe you're just on the WNBA payroll. Clark's performance in that game was exactly what fans have come to expect. Huge threes, smart passes, veteran composure. Her connection with Aaliyah Boston is already one of the league's best duos. But none of that seemed to matter when the whistles started flying one way, especially when Sabrina Ionescu, the poster child of the previous era, got 2 free throws for a foul that wouldn't knock over a paper towel roll.
I think Sabrina was just begging and threw it up left-handed, and they called a foul. And I'm like, challenge it, because they had a challenge left, and Stephanie White, she already on the hot seat? I don't know. Why don't you challenge? I don't know. It just didn't look like a foul. I guess they thought it was a foul, a body foul. I don't know. I think you could have won that challenge at home, at Indiana.
That call changed everything. It wasn't just weak, it was pivotal. And worse, it was challengeable. But the Fever didn't throw the flag. So instead, we all watched the Liberty take the lead on a ghost foul, while real contact against Clark was ignored like last season's stats.
League is this league because of Caitlin Clark. She is it. She is the biggest lightning rod gate attraction this league has ever known, times 5. I might go times 10. And you don't give her that call at home. You don't give her team any of those calls. I don't know why Stephanie White didn't challenge. Maybe they would have gotten that one, but help me out.
It's not just the Fever faithful asking questions. After watching a 4th quarter riddled with non-calls against Indiana, fans everywhere are wondering if the league is quietly prioritizing the old guard. The WNBA has always loved its golden trio, Sabrina, Stewie, and Aja, and with Clark now eclipsing all of them in buzz, is the league trying to hit the brakes on her rise?
A lot of people had 4 fouls. Lexie Hall had 4 fouls. Natasha Howard had 4 fouls. Caitlin Clark had 5 fouls. Boston, 4 fouls. So, like, this is a huge story, I think, with the Fever of how they're going to be ref this year. This is the 2nd consecutive game for Caitlin with 5 fouls. So, I don't know, man. I think the Fever are facing a difficult whistle this year.
If this is what growing pains look like, then Caitlin must be going through a full-blown WNBA puberty. But she's not your average sophomore. She's already transformed the Fever from an afterthought into a must-watch team. She's broken viewership records, driven up merchandise sales, and single-handedly expanded the league's fan base. So when she gets hacked with no call and Sabrina gets a free pass to the charity stripe, it doesn't feel like coincidence. It feels like sabotage. Sure, the scoreboard says New York won, but the real score? 32-15. That's the free throw disparity. That's not just a red flag. That's a full-blown DEFCON 1 alert that officiating is compromising the credibility of the league. It's a stat so outrageous that even neutral analysts started side-eyeing their screen.
League is still resentful of her, it's still jealous of her, and it's still trying to put her in her place and give her nothing, make her earn something that she already earned last year when she put this league on the national map. For the first time ever, it was really, really and truly on the national map.
And perception? That's where the real damage is done. Because even if the refs weren't trying to rig the game, it looked rigged. And in the world of sports, where trust is everything, perception is reality. When Clark keeps picking herself off the floor with no call, fans aren't just frustrated, they're furious. And when those fans lose faith in fairness, it's game over for the league's image.
I feel like it was kind of stolen from the Fever a little bit here. I feel like that both teams showed amazing heart fighting from deficits, both sides. The Liberty controlled most of the game up until the third quarter, where everything switched. Caitlin Clark started coming alive and energizing the building like only she could.
This is no longer about one game or even one player. This is about a WNBA that risks being remembered for controversy instead of competition. Caitlin Clark should be the narrative, her skills, her growth, her connection with fans. Instead, the conversation is being hijacked by refs and the league's silence. And that's a PR disaster. If this continues, the volume will only go up. The WNBA cannot afford to let its brightest star become a poster child for unfair treatment. So now, the ball's in the league's court. Are they going to take this seriously, or let the resentment simmer until the fans check out? Let's talk fixes. Because yes, something needs to happen yesterday. The outcry after the Fever Liberty game wasn't just whining. This was a genuine eruption of concern from fans, media, and even former players. And when rigged is trending after your primetime matchup, you've got a brand crisis on your hands.
It will be a lot of people standing around waiting for something to happen, or she's just going to be getting guarded physical as hell, and the refs clearly aren't going to do anything about it. So she's going to get mauled, and she's going to be getting tired and gassed out. People are going to be putting their hands all over her like this. They're going to be pushing her around, and it's not going to be called.
Start with the obvious, officiating. That 32-15 free throw imbalance wasn't just unfair, it was embarrassing, especially when the calls that swung the game were crystal clear. Clark drives, takes body contact, hits the deck, nothing. Ionescu gets breathed on, 2 free throws. These aren't just oopsies, they're game-changing blunders. And it's not just the fans saying it. Analysts across the league are begging for better refs, especially in high-stakes matchups. These games feel like playoff battles, and the refs need to rise to the occasion. That means specialized training, pressure simulations, and an overhaul of how calls are reviewed and challenged. This isn't middle school PE, this is a professional league. Treat it like one.
The refs, man. The refs. I'm the type of person who always say, you should not put the ball or put the game in the refs' hands. Now, granted, there are some things the Indiana Fever did that helped them lose this game. But fam, there was a lot that the refs did to help the Liberty win this game, fam.
Transparency is non-negotiable. The league needs to release officiating reports, admit mistakes, and show fans they're actually doing something about it. Every time they hide behind vague statements, it just confirms what fans already suspect. The league is scared to confront its own problems. And the Fever? They've got work to do too. You can't control the refs, but you can control your strategy. Keeping stars like Clark, Mitchell, and Hull out of foul trouble has to be a priority. Balance the offense, play smart, and don't give the refs a reason to swing momentum with a whistle. Because when Indiana plays smart and tough, even the worst refs can't stop them.
It's like, how do you call the softest foul in history on Lexie Hull because Sabrina jumps on the ground, and literally, the Fever have a chance to win the game, to go up 2, they jump through her back. Caitlin Clark shooting a shot, and Natasha Howard does the dumbest thing she can possibly do by fouling Caitlin Clark on a 3-point shot, and you ignored it. Like, this is ridiculous.
Here's the big takeaway. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark. This is about the future of the league. If fans believe outcomes are predetermined or that officials are playing favorites, the entire sport suffers. Broadcasters won't invest, sponsors won't stick around, and new fans won't come back. Every missed call against Clark isn't just a disservice to her. It's a threat to the WNBA's growth. That Liberty game? It wasn't just a contest, it was a test, and the league failed it. What happens next will determine whether the WNBA rebounds or slips into a scandal it can't recover from. This is the moment. Fix it now, or watch your credibility disappear faster than a missed whistle in the fourth quarter. Let us know down in the comments below what you think of the WNBA refs. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.